Glosky, body count, you had really strong opinions on it. What you got? What you got for us?
My body count?
Yeah.
I already answered that.
I feel like you had more opinions.
More opinions?
On the body count conversation.
On the body count. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think
Like-
I said everything about it that I wanted to say. I'm just kind of like, I have a lot to think about when I go home because this
shit.
whole perspective is crazy to me. So
What's crazy about it?
that it means so much to you and that you view it as this thing, and I don't. So it's like it's fascinating because we're human, and I mean, it's.
Don't you think people are pair bonded for the longest time, and generally speaking, around the world, that's the norm? Is that people, for the most part, get married when they're virgins, in most cultures around the world.
Probably, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's actually the norm. What we're saying, this is an anomaly.
Oh, there
with
is no
Western.
norm. I don't think there's a good or bad. I just like to hear your perspective on it, because I thought that Americans and Europeans were quite like the same, but yeah, it's wild.
Well, I mean, just depends who you speak to, really. But
Yeah,
it's definitely an anomaly in the world how liberal Western culture is with sex. It's very, very taboo and frowned upon in most other places in the world.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Any
depending on the
religious
culture.
community, it's very frowned upon.
Yeah.
And most people in the world are religious. All the Muslims, all the Christians, except for the Colombians. They're religious, but they just throw it around. Yeah.
You been to Colombia, Jake?
I have.
Huh.
Going back in a few weeks.
Interesting. Nice. Wait, but you were starting to say, but we're people. What do you mean by that?
Like, I feel like we're kind of like.
Like judging? Is that kind of what you
No, I mean like we're like I say, like we're the same-ish, as in I can speak English to you, understand what I'm saying. So it's kind of like we can understand each other, but we've grown up so differently that we have such different perspectives on something that's like, it's so different, it's the complete opposite. That's just very fascinating.
I don't really understand.
It's like agree to disagree kind of thing.
But I mean, like, just because we speak the same language, I mean, for example, politics, right? Even in the Netherlands, there's more conservative politicians, there's super liberal politicians, but they speak the same language. So I'm a little confused by we speak the same language, thus we must have identical.
Don't read too much into it. What I'm trying to say is we're just kind of, we're the same, we're vibing. Most of us are, it's nice, and we get to meet each other. So it's like, there's a lot of the same things, and we view the world in a lot of the same ways. And I thought we were kind of grown up in the same ways. And now it turns out that there's a few things that are completely opposite. So
this is just a completely alien perspective to you, that people should be more conservative.
I mean,
with
I
their
only
sexual
heard
life.
it on the podcast.
You've never heard that before? That's not something that was familiar to you at all, that people live that way?
Only on TV. Yeah.
Very interesting. Do you think that it's a positive thing when people pair bond and when people have families?
When people what?
Pair bond, when people like have families and they get together and they have long relationships and marriages and families.
If I think it's important?
Positive thing?
A positive thing. Yeah, I guess so, if that's what you want to do in life. But
what do you think would happen if everyone stopped doing that?
We'd be kind of screwed, but also times change, so who knows if that will ever happen.
But if, just hypothetically, if that happened tomorrow and everyone stopped pair bonding and everyone stopped and the males and females stopped being attracted to each other and just went away, or on the flip side, if everyone was just having sex and not being in relationships, not having families, not having kids, what do you think would happen to society?
Well, it shouldn't be the one extreme or the other extreme.
But
hypothetically, I mean...
Within the hypothetical, what do you think would happen?
We would be effed.
So then, with that in mind, and when you think about what makes a healthy society, which is nuclear
Both.
family...
You need both.
Why do you need promiscuity?
Because you need something of everything.
Why? Why do you need that?
There's people who want to stay single and just...
I know people want to, but why do you need it? When we're talking about... this is more of a conversation about duties and about what makes a healthy society rather than what we want, what our desires are. Why do you need promiscuity in a society?
Because you need something out of everything.
Why?
People are different.
Why do you need it?
Not everyone matches together.
I know, but just is there a reason why? Because I gave you my reason why we need family, because that makes a healthy society, healthy communities.
Yeah.
We need to maintain our birth rate. We need to proliferate as a species. Why do we need promiscuity?
Because we're human, and we've been doing this since the beginning of time, and it would be bad if that would not be a thing anymore.
Do you think it would be bad if people got together young and they pair bonded and they had kids and families and they weren't sleeping around and there were no STDs and there were no abortions and there were no single mothers and criminals coming from single mother households and people on welfare? Do you think that it would be bad if those things were taken away?
It's two extremes. I do think you need like a healthy mix of the both of them to make things work.
Yeah, it's just funny because you can't really give a reason why, though, because you're just saying we need it because we need it without much of a reason.
Yeah, because people are different. If everyone was the same and wanted the same thing, that would not really be a good thing.
But yeah, I think you're more talking about what we want. So people want to have lots of sex, and there are people that want to have lots of sex, and I think most men out there want to have a lot of sex. But what we want and what we need are two different things. We need a stable society in order to move forward, in order to have future generations.
We also need people who think and act differently.
I would say that it's
you
good
can't
if everyone is.
The one and
if
not the
there
other.
are many different aspects of life. For example, people's creativity. We need creative people, and we need more orderly people, more structured people. That is a positive way that we can have diversity in the world. But in terms of this, it's very easy to see the fruits of a society that is very promiscuous, when they have very low birth rates and when they have high rates of disease and single mothers and
That's not
the products
always
of
the
single
case.
mothers.
These are extremes, what you're saying right now.
But this happens. This happens. It happens right here in America. You look at the African American community, for example. 75% of kids are born out of wedlock and are in single mother households. And then if you look at the statistics of kids who go to single mother households, they're 20 times more likely to end up being criminals, much more likely to end up being on drugs because they don't have a father in the home. This is all borne out by statistics. So
I can't
this is
talk
why
about this side of the world. I don't know how
What
things
if I-
are being
what if I-
planned here, but
what if
I
I
think in Europe I can say that this works pretty well for us. So,
What
and I
does?
can't see it like
What works well?
if you want to say it like vulgarly, is the promiscuous.
It works
thing.
well in Europe?
Yeah, it's super. It's actually really nice because it makes dating so much easier. Everyone's more relaxed, open-minded.
Yeah,
Wait,
less
it makes it
drama.
easier?
Yeah.
There's a lot of cultural decadence in Europe for sure. You guys have a birth rate in countries like Holland that's falling off a cliff. You guys are going to be replaced because you're not pair bonding over there.
Probably, but times are changing. There's nothing
No, actually,
bad
times
about
are changing. It's going in a really bad direction. Like the native population of Holland in 100, 200 years will be replaced by Muslims.
it. And why is that a problem?
Well, don't you have any national identity? Don't you have any pride in who you guys are?
Well, I can only speak for myself, and I think that a lot of countries change, a lot of cultures change. So
wouldn't you-
if it happens because of certain things that we do, then it happens.
So you'd be happy for Dutch people to just fade out of existence?
No, of course not.
But what if it happened, though?
What if the Dutch people disappeared? I would be
Yeah.
very sad.
Well, it kind of contradicts a little bit what you said before. Let me ask you a question related
It
to what
won't be
Jake
in
is
my
saying here.
lifetime.
Do you think, so like Japan is, although this might be changing, Japan is a country that's pretty well known for...
Homogeneity?
Yeah, homogeneity. And they don't want a lot of immigration, I believe, although maybe it's changing a little bit.
It's changing a little bit because their birth rates are so low. It's actually below 1 now in
But
these places.
I guess my question for you is, would you think that there is anything wrong if Japanese people wanted Japan to remain Japanese? Like me and Jake, we could move to Japan. We can never become Japanese, right?
Yeah.
But do you think there's anything wrong with a country saying, hey, we want our country to remain our, is it race or ethnicity, or I don't know the specific terminology. Me personally, I can't actually think of any argument that in terms of objecting to Japan wishing to stay Japanese.
Sure.
Do you think that's wrong, though?
No, I honestly do not care about it. I don't have a say in it, so it is what it is.
Okay. By the way, I'm looking here on Twitch. We have Burmese Mountain Tiger who's watching. Burmese Mountain Tiger, can you write a message in the Twitch chat, because you're a longtime supporter. Maybe you're just, it's in the background. Maybe you stepped away to, do a line of cocaine. I don't know what it is. Can you just write in the chat I want to see if you're active in the chat, Burmese Mountain Tiger.
Hail and well met. Lol Paladins donated $200.02. Jake, you can't force a love of nation onto a women. Women have a biological imperative to breed with stronger men. European men are weak cooks. She would enjoy being forced to wear the burqa.
I think that a lot of European men are weak cucks. I think that's very true.
And that's the thing. It's so wild because I think if you would ask Europeans, they would say the same thing about you. And I think it's really bad. I think there has to be some type of understanding, but it's so far apart. I don't think we'll ever. Really
I think that if you want to have a coherent worldview about that, and when you want to think about the bigger picture and what's best, you have to be able to explain why you think what you think. And why it's okay, and why it's okay to just go with what we want and what we desire and what makes us feel nice all the time. Do you know what I mean? And I think that
I don't explain it right.
No, I think you don't. You just don't really know why you believe that. I think it just feels nice. That's basically what you say. It feels good.
It doesn't feel good. We need to mix. You can't have one without the other.
Why not,
that's
though?
my
You
reason.
haven't made a.
Because it doesn't work.
What doesn't work?
What doesn't work? Do you think that society didn't function well when people were creating families and getting
Yeah, and there will
married
be
young?
people creating families, but there will also be single people that look for other single people.
But you're saying that it won't work. You have to justify that claim. Why won't it work?
I don't know how else to explain it than that there has to be a mix.
Wait, a mix of what?
Promiscuity and like family structure.
Yeah, different people with different views.
Oh, I thought you meant mix in terms of culture.
No. That's
Groups of people.
No. That's shit. Well, we got to that because I said that their birth rate is falling off a cliff
Right.
with the native Dutch people, and they're actually going to get replaced in a few hundred years, and your country will be Muslim eventually. And she was like, "Oh, I don't really see the problem with that," and that's where you came in with Japan.
Okay.
But that was a kind of meta conversation. But yeah, I just don't really like. This is a very new thing. All of this cultural decadence that we're experiencing in the West at the moment, where people are just very liberal about it. Oh, we can do what we want. We can just have all of this sex, and we can not pair bond. And we're seeing the fruits of that, and it's not good. When it's not good at all. The birth rates are literally falling off a cliff, and that's a big problem. And women are getting older and older, and they're not marrying, and they're becoming depressed about it. Like in America, and I think throughout the Western world as well, the amount of antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications that women are taking is obscene. And
But that doesn't have to do anything.
it
with
actually
being
does, because you
promiscuous or
can
not.
correlate it. You can correlate women who are single and childless in their 40s with antidepressants.
What's the rate for men?
Much lower than women.
What
Yeah.
are the statistics?
I don't know it off the top of my head, but I'm sure we could look it up. Yeah. But, I mean, I think that generally speaking, a man can go his whole life just focusing on a career and be reasonably satisfied. It's not optimal, obviously, but if a woman does that, I think that it's a recipe for a disaster. Just the way that we're biologically wired. Only 40% of men that have ever lived have reproduced. So.
All right, peace in the chat. Do you
What?
want to respond to his point, or just...
Oh no, I thought you. No, sorry, I thought
Oh,
you
you thought that
mumbled
was-
something. So okay. No, I can't explain it any better than what I already said.
Okay.
Maybe I can't bring it across the way I want it, but to me it makes a lot of sense.
But essentially your position is promiscuity is good.
And needed.
Is that correct?
Is needed.
It's
but
needed
not
for what?
Promiscuity.
No, but
This
what
per
is
is
it?
se,
this is what I
Wait,
was
but
sorry.
different
Draw
types
out,
of
yeah.
people with different types of views are needed. Yes.
But okay, so even if we grant that different types of people with different types of views are needed, what does that have? Okay, how is promiscuity needed? What's
Well, that's
purpose?
kind of how we started the
No,
conversation.
but what? Okay, so what purpose does it serve?
What purpose does it serve? So people can just be their own, and if they want to be more vulgar, then they can. Not
people
everybody
can-
wants to
people
marry
can
and
be-
get locked down.
Can just be sort of at the whim of their desire. They can do what feels nice.
How do you mean?
That people can just follow their desires. They can just do what feels good. And
If that's a priority for them, yeah.
do you think that that's a positive thing, though, to always be attached to your desire rather than your duties and responsibilities?
If it's not me, but I think for a lot of people, if that's what they want to do and that's what makes them happy and they're not hurting anyone else, is great.
Well, what if you are hurting other people? What if the society as a whole, like the bigger picture that I just painted, is affected by all of this?
Not all women want to be
decadence?
breeding machines and get married,
What do you mean by a breeding machine?
Like they don't want to reproduce.
What makes them a breeding machine if they reproduce? It's the primary function of a woman.
Yeah, well, you don't have to.
I'm not saying that you have to. You can unfortunately not do that if you'd really like to, but it doesn't make you a breeding machine. It just makes you a mother. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. It is, yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't call a woman who has children a breeding machine.
No, it's fair. Yeah, maybe I worded it differently.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of a subconscious thing that comes out sometimes, because this is the messaging that young women are fed these days, is that if you actually view motherhood and being a wife and having a family as something that's aspirational in itself, then you're subjecting yourself to a lower form of purpose. But I don't see that at all. If you have children, and if you're a woman who has children, 3, 4, 5 children, and you send them out into the world and they're good people, it's like the ultimate responsibility. It's difficult to raise good kids,
And what if you don't want to have kids then? Like, how is that in your perspective?
I'd say that it's a selfish thing to do. I think that we have duties as people. One of those duties is to replace our lineage. It's a selfish, materialistic thing to do.
Do you really think that it's bad if you don't want to reproduce?
100%. Yeah, you have duties. It's not all about what feels nice in life.
Okay, yeah. Interesting.
Like for example, your country is a perfect example. You guys are getting replaced, and if you guys don't have some white babies,
what the fuck?
then you're going to be replaced.
There are quite a lot of people in the Netherlands who do have families and go for all of that.
But it's going like this though. If you have mass immigration of people from the Middle East and Africa, which is happening in Netherlands at the moment, and they all breed at a much higher rate than you, 3, 4 kids per woman, and the Netherlands has a birth rate of like 1.2, then what's going to happen is that you're eventually going to be replaced, and the Dutch people aren't going to exist anymore. It's going to be an offshoot of the Middle East. Doesn't that concern you at all?
No, there's a lot of countries who won't exist anymore in thousands of years. We won't exist anymore.
Like country like Holland, it's like one of the best countries in the world. You guys have the best farmers in the world. One of the most the ingenuity in Holland is amazing. You guys build those dikes to keep the water out. Like you guys are one of the most productive farmers in the whole world. That's not gonna remain, especially if your government keeps trying to restrict the farmers. But don't you think that's a problem? Don't you think Holland is good? Dutch people should stay around?
Yeah, Dutch people are awesome. I think, from my perspective, being around Dutch people are awesome. But still, I stand by what I just said, that I think that lots of different people with different views are still needed. And if that eventually leads to one country dying out, I mean, it's going to happen eventually anyway. But then again, I'm a nihilist, so.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
You're going to go out.
Okay.
You're going to go out with a whimper.
Nihilist. Yeah. I mean, maybe. So you don't want to have kids then? Is that?
Sorry?
You don't want to have kids?
Right now, absolutely not.
Sure.
I mean, eventually, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So.
It's not something I think about.
But let's say so. But eventually.
Hail and well met.
Okay.
Lol Paladins donated $200.02.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
And there it is. You think the Nazis lost? Nope. He or she is right in the studio. A woman who would be happy if humans stopped existing. Should we just go march into the gas chambers to speed it up?
Thank you, Law Paladins.
Damn, that's extreme.
Your response?
My response, I love paladins, but also that's very extreme. Like, that's not at all what I meant to say, and if it comes across like that, then that's really bad.
He's being facetious, but he's making a good point, which is that...
Old Man Marine donated $100. Is addiction or gluttony needed? Should we not try to civilize ourselves? We are devolving into animalistic desires because we harp on our rights and not duty.
Hey, Old Man Marine, thank you, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, so Lol Paladins was actually making a good point, which was just to say that why don't we just march ourselves into the gas chambers already? What's the point? I mean, you did say that you're a nihilist, but yeah, it's probably in accordance with your way of thinking. Why don't we just die?
But
I'd like to actually have that answered. Why don't we just die?
Because we don't. I mean, it's a bit common sense. That's not what I was trying to say, right?
Yeah,
we all make the best of it. And some people want to have families and they want to have 10 kids, fine. Some people don't. They just want to sleep with everyone, which is also fine. I think we should respect both parties. And if eventually that leads to problems in a country, like we deal with it then. Humans have always adjusted to any situation. That's how we sit here right now.
But do we have to respect them?
Respect who?
What, Jake, maybe you know this term, something about tolerance. If you tolerate everything...
If you tolerate everything, you stand for nothing.
I think there's some specific term for it. I can't, maybe the chat will know. Chat, something about like the intolerance of tolerance or the tolerating... I don't know exactly what it is. It's not clear to me, though, if everyone's deserving of respect and certain conduct. Like, I think most... Like, do you think hookup culture is good?
Do I think hookup culture is good?
Yes.
A hookup culture as in people just sleeping around?
Yeah,
there.
so essentially promiscuity. Is it good?
Is it good? I mean, for the teenagers, I guess.
Well, I don't even know if it's good for the teenagers. There's a difference between should people be allowed to do something and is it good?
It doesn't have to be good or bad. I think everyone should make the decision for themselves.
So, like, as a society, right, I can't imagine the United States is ever going to, for example, criminalize having a casual sexual encounter. But as a society, we can still say this is undesirable conduct. We should try to move away from it. We shouldn't do it. And there should be social shame. So you said these people still deserve respect. Do they, though? Because if we're not going to criminalize something, the only way that we can enforce, like, certain social values is through social shame. It's shameful to conduct yourself this way. So it's not deserving of respect. If you're a person, whether male or female, and you go out and you sleep with 10 new people a month, I think that this is worthy of social shame.
So it comes from a point of
or to
keeping something safe.
What do you mean?
From your,
keeping something safe?
Yeah, you're trying to
preserve something.
Yeah, maybe that's the right word to say it.
Well, you said respect.
Yeah.
I don't think nobody's owed, like, respect is earned, right? So this idea that we need to respect people and their beliefs, I kind of disagree.
That's
I don't think
I think you should respect everyone.
No, I don't think you should respect everyone. I think you should comport yourself in a respectable manner. And it doesn't mean you need to necessarily insult somebody. But this idea that we need to respect all beliefs, I think is erroneous. I think there should be in instances where there's no conceivable way that a law can be passed to police people's conduct. There needs to be social and societal and cultural shame that exists to prevent undesirable conduct in a society.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense with where you're coming from.
It's very doable as well because we've done the reverse. Since feminism has really come into the frame in Western society, there's been a mass propaganda campaign to indoctrinate young women into this liberal way of thinking, and the reverse is actually possible as well. It just matters about what kind of propaganda is put out there. So it's very doable.
Interesting. All right. I'm just glad I don't live here. I'm very happy.
Well, I mean, it's degenerate in the United States, too.
I would do really bad here.
I actually think the United States is more degenerate than...
Oh, I don't know about where they're from.
The Netherlands? I've been to the Netherlands 3 times. I mean, I feel like in Europe, obviously each country's different. I actually think in Europe, promiscuity is not nearly as bad as it is in the United States.
I think that Europe in general, it's not, but you're taking into account Eastern Europe and places like Russia and Ukraine and Hungary and more traditional, and then you're also taking into account Turkey, which is a bit more traditional as well. But where they're from in Western Europe, it's like very, very degenerate. Places like Germany, have you ever heard of the Berghain?
I think
yes, love Berghain.
Exactly.
It's a lot more less black and white, a lot more nuanced, I think, because I am together with my boyfriend for 4 years and we're thinking about next steps, and we have a lot of friends around us getting children and growing their families, so that's also in the Netherlands. And then there's also a very free scene, sorry.
No, I know you're giving your own anecdotal experience. I don't think Jake is certainly not saying all the women in these countries or all the people in these countries, they're all degenerate. obviously there's people that conduct themselves in a different way. But I mean, to
I'm
Jake's
they're
point,
very liberal, yeah.
even the Western European countries, I don't think they're as degen and as promiscuous as American women.
I don't know.
I think American women are probably I'm trying to think.
No, UK is the worst.
Yeah, England.
England?
The UK is the
It doesn't
worst.
go worse than that.
UK is the worst, and then I'd say probably countries like Germany and Netherlands are pretty bad. But
I think German women are pretty, like, you compare a German woman to an American woman.
The only reason I say that though is because America is still a very Christian country, and in the more rural places, you do get, like, these places are very Christian. When you get to the cities, like at Los Angeles and New York and Miami and places like this, they're probably the most degenerate places in the world. But America still has that Christian core, which I think is like holding the ship up.
Is it the majority though? I feel like
know.
the lib agnostic atheist is the majority now in the United States. But I mean, I think like you look at your average German woman versus your average American woman, I'm pretty sure the average American woman is more promiscuous than the average German woman.
Dude, if you go to Berlin, honestly, it's terrible.
I feel like European women, and that's obviously very broad in general, seem to conduct themselves a bit more uprightly than their American counterparts.
I think they're more
England,
they're smarter.
I don't know about
Definitely
England. You're probably right about England. They're probably slags or whatever they call them. But
Mate, you go out for a night out in Liverpool or Manchester. And
England's
horrendous.
fucked. But like
Yeah.
continental Europe, I'm pretty sure like continental European women. Scandinavia's kind of fucked. Hold on, let me think about this.
It's very
Why are
feminist
you
over
so
there.
negative
About what?
that people are a bit more free? It can also
Free.
be.
Are you free or are you slave?
What?
That was some
No, I
deep,
think-
that was some fucking fifth grade like tweet, fucking Jaden Smith tweet shit.
Hit me up type shit.
But it's like
Perfect question.
But it's. I think it's nice that people are free to
You're-
experience.
you mean a slave to your base primal animal urges?
It depends what you mean by free, though.
Well, there's less shame if you want to experiment or go to Bergenheim. I've never been, but I've heard stories.
Just for those who don't know, the Berghain is this club in Berlin where people go and you're not allowed to have your phones on you or anything like that. And everyone's dressed up really freaky and they're all having sex in the different rooms. And there's a guy who's famous for getting his mouth peed in there.
What the-
He hangs out. I've never been here, by the way.
What?
He hangs out in the toilet and he puts his face under and people pee in his mouth. This is a real guy. And this is what they do. But this is the logical conclusion of being free, of people being able to explore whatever they want to do. You end up...
But it's one guy, you said.
Yeah.
One guy.
Dog, you know?
I never heard that story. Interesting. No, I don't know. I think it's good that people can experiment.
Revive the Patriarchy donated $100. The reason depression and anxiety is high in the West is due to lack of purpose and discipline. The West is committed to self-destructive hedonism and self-shame. Face the mirror and accountability.
Revive the Patriarchy. Great name, man. Really appreciate the message.
But that's the thing. There is also purpose and discipline. Because once you go for a relationship, then you can have the commitment that you want.
Yeah, but it's kind of a risk, isn't it? Because if you go until your sort of late 20s, early 30s, and you just do what you want, you're free, you're much less likely to pair bond when you're in your 30s. And you're much less likely to have kids as well. And if you do have kids after 35 or whatever, they're much more likely to have conditions as well. So there's a lot of risk involved. So you can say that it's good and it might be fun. I'll be the first to admit that it can be fun. But is it right? Is it what's best for society? That's the question. For people to be free. And also, what is freedom? What does that even mean? What do you think freedom means?
Free to suck a dick.
I'm curious what you mean by freedom. And do you think that people actually want to be free?
Well, I don't know. I was just listening to the whole story, and I think it's you were talking about shaming people and body counts and stuff like that. And personally, I think, of course, it matters. I don't think I would date a guy that has a body count over 100 or 50. But if other people don't have a problem with them, why would you shame them for it? Like, we have to look at ourselves and what we want. And if I want someone with a low body count, then I look for someone with a low body count. And if she enjoys life and has a high body count and doesn't see a problem, then why would we shame her for that?
Well, because we have to live in the same society as people, and we have to create a societal standard. And it does affect us.
People are different.
I understand that, but I think that people are also reasonably malleable in the way that we conduct ourselves. For example, in America, they've got this big thing where you have these transgender people who are reading kids' stories in schools. And there's all this indoctrination into this sexual ideology happening in schools in America. That's the logical conclusion of freedom. Because if you believe in freedom over anything, then why is that wrong? You can't really make a case for why that's wrong. But if you believe in that's something that should be... Do you believe that that's something that should be stigmatised and shamed?
There should be a rule set in place for that.
Yeah. Why?
I think personally.
But why?
Because mon TOS, you shouldn't mix children with certain things.
Why not?
Well, there's many reasons why you shouldn't do that. It's not good for their brains, first of all.
But you're a nihilist, though, so like, why? I'm not going to get deep into the philosophy with you.
Thinking about the future, I mean, the kids are the future, right? So you can't brainwash them from a young age. But that's a whole different topic. Like, I don't really know what the deal is. Like, I've seen it on TV.
What if they want to read it?
What if the storyteller wants to read it?
What if the kids want to read it?
The kids want to read it. I think they should ask their parents first.
Yeah. And what if their parents say, that's fine, you can go read that book about oral sex at my 11-year-old? Should that be okay?
No, it should be like maybe 14 or something.
So then you're saying at least there should be some sort of shame and stigma attached to sexuality.
Some rules set in place, especially when it comes to children. Yeah.
Do you think
They
that
need to
maybe
be
that's
protected.
because we don't want the next generation of children who are going to go out into the workforce and going to have families, etc., because we don't want them to be degenerates?
Well, you call it degenerate. It sounds so negative. I just view it as people with different priorities, standpoints, lifestyles.
Do you think
there's no good or bad in that?
Do you think that it's bad to be a serial killer?
Well, that's common sense.
Why?
Because
You
you're
said there's
hurting
no good
other
or bad.
people.
But you said there's no good or bad.
Well, you're hurting other people, so obviously
Do you think
there's
it's okay?
exceptions.
But don't you think that if you're one of these people who's reading books to kids, you're also hurting other people?
No, that depends, because then it's about the parents and the child, right? So what they decide to do is best, then they should follow that.
But what if it hurts the child?
Well, I hope it won't hurt the child. I don't know what they're doing, but reading a book
What
to
if you
a
could
child...
you could quantify it pretty easily and say that children shouldn't be exposed to overly sexual material and that it does hurt children?
No, it depends on how young they are. I mean, they do get like sex education here in America as well, right?
But this is not sexual education. This is like sexual indoctrination of kids, and it's happening on a pretty broad scale over here. But I think to get to the meat and potatoes of it, it's to say that some things should be shamed in society, and it just matters where you draw that line. And what we're saying is that the line should be drawn way before where it is at the moment. And what you're saying is that people should be able to be free to do whatever they want.
Our lines are way off.
But what you're saying
100%.
is that you don't. If I'm not hurting anybody else, but you are hurting other people because you have to live in the same society as people, and then my kids have to go to the same school as your kids, and I have to see you guys around, and then my kids have to watch these gay pride parades happening in the middle of the street with these naked men with their penises out dancing in front of them. That affects me, and that's the consequence of liberalism and of this freedom that you guys talk about. And perhaps you haven't thought about the logical conclusion of it because in your life you don't do anything. I mean, OnlyFans, it's pretty heinous, but perhaps you haven't thought about the logical conclusion of it, but it does affect other people who you live in the society with.
I would disagree, because like Amsterdam is obviously known for the most amazing gay pride, and we bring children there, but it's a different type of introduction.
Revive the Patriarchy donated $100.01. There is no discipline in the West. It is beaten out of our children as during Drag Queen Story Hour. Discipline is doing what you hate but doing it like you love it. Mike Tyson.
I believe that's Grid One Motorsports. Revive the patriarchy. Hey, dude, thank you. Good to see you in the chat, man. Thank you for the message. I do got to move things on a little bit here, but that was an interesting little convo.